Hey guys, this is one of my favorite card tricks. This is perfect for beginners, but it can be used for any skill level. It is incredibly easy, and I have added different layers to the method over the years, and I hesitated to reveal this, but I really want to bring you guys the best magic. So if you like this, please leave me a thumbs up and let me know and watch to the end, and I will continue making more tutorials like this. So let's go ahead and jump into the presentation. You're going to have a spectator shuffle a deck of cards, and this is completely a legitimate shuffle. Just so you know, I'm not doing anything tricky. A kid could be shuffling this. We'll pretend that they did, and they dropped the deck, right? And you do not even handle this deck right here. I am just doing that for presentation purposes, and if I can get these cards back in order. Sorry, I'm trying to do it without handling the deck too much. There we go. So that is going to remain there on the table, and I'm going to make I'm not going to call it a prediction. I have a feeling about a card. I wasn't going to do this, but there's one card that is really calling out to me right now. Yep, here it is. And we're going to leave that here in full view. The spectator can keep a hold of that if they want. And now I'm going to ask the spectator to pick up this deck that they have shuffled. And I'll play the part of the spectator. Just start dealing from the top of the deck. And actually give these a shuffle too. Go ahead and just shuffle these. And keep dealing cards down, and actually you could take cards from the middle if you wanted. Yeah, or from the bottom. Now give it another shuffle. I just want you to just keep dealing cards until you feel like you want to stop. And you could take cards from anywhere. Right there, you feel like you want to stop there? Are you sure? Okay, great. Hand this to me. We'll get rid of these cards. You could have had any of these cards, but we'll go ahead and get rid of them. Eliminate those, and now I want you to take this pack and I want you to deal 2 hands of cards, 2 piles back and forth from the top like so. There you go, perfect. Until the cards run out. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I want you to hand me one of these packets. This one, okay. Excellent, we'll get rid of this packet. Could have had any of these cards. Now, let's recap. I have not touched this deck. You have shuffled it completely, correct? You have dealt cards down. You have eliminated all of these cards. You could have had any of these cards here. And you've also verified that all the cards are different. Yet you've come to one card. You made the choice of you made the choice first of handing me any packet that you wanted to. You handed me this packet. You could have had you could add the other packet, any cards from that other packet. But we've come down to one card, and you'll say this was a fair, free choice, correct? Awesome. I'll have you turn this card over, in case you think I'm doing anything sneaky. Spectator will turn this card over. Awesome. So we came down to one card. It was the Ace of Spades. Your completely free choice. Now, funny thing is, before this trick even started, I had a feeling about one card. One card was really pulling me, and you know what? It wasn't the Knight of Clubs, it wasn't the King of Hearts, it wasn't the Queen of Spades, it wasn't the Ace of Clubs. It was one card that I just had this really strong feeling about, and I took that out before the trick started and laid it right there. You've been watching it the whole time. And in fact, it actually was the Ace of Spades. So thank you so much. You did that perfectly. Thank you for playing. And guys, if you want to learn that, let's get into how that works now. All right, so this is a really fun trick, and I'm going to explain a couple of different methods that it can be done. In the performance, I use something, but you do not have to have this on hand, or you don't have to use this. I'm going to give you a couple of other methods. In this method, my favorite method, which I devised, actually uses a marked deck. So this is a marked deck right here. But I'm going to show you a method where you can do this same trick without a marked deck. It just adds an extra layer of making it even more difficult to the spectator to figure out what happened, and makes it seem a little bit more impossible. So what's happening here is this is based on basically a principle. There's this old force where you kind of force the top card, and even if you've seen this before, keep watching, because I'm going to throw in some of my own subtleties that make this even more impossible. So anyway, you have the spectator or whoever deals from the top of the deck, and then these cards can be mixed and shuffled. They can come from the top or the bottom at this point, it doesn't matter, and they stop whenever they want. And they're going to make two piles. Alternating to the cards are completely exhausted. And you're going to watch, if you don't have a marked deck, you're going to watch and see where that final card falls at, that they deal, because that's going to be the selected card. Okay? So that's how that force works, and I'm going to back up a little bit, and I'm going to show you how I use that in this performance, and the different ways that it works in this trick. So what's going to happen is, in this case, you're going to ask the spectator to shuffle the cards, and they're going to legitimately shuffle them. And if you do have a marked deck, in this case, you have them put the cards on the table, and I can see that's the 8 of diamonds on top of the deck, so I know that's going to be the card that we're going to force. So I'm going to take my deck, and I'll just go through and quickly find the ace of diamonds, and you can use whatever pattern that you want, but don't show this card to them, because it's going to be, you know, a kind of prediction, although I don't usually like to say prediction. I say I had a feeling about a card. And so, and that can have them hold that, so they don't, but don't look at it, but have that in view, so they don't think you're doing some kind of switch out or anything like that. I think it's also important that they keep this deck on the table. Don't allow them to hold it while you're making your prediction. And the reason for that is they may just decide to shuffle the cards, and that's going to mess up the trick, because it's going to change the top card. So ask them to put it down on the table while you get your prediction out, so that they don't fool with the, the method here. So this is going to be your force card, which is the 8 of diamonds on top of the deck. And they are going to, basically, let me backtrack. If you don't have a marked deck, I'm going to show you a method or two that you can also attain the same results. Basically, all you need to do is peek the top card. You need to know, either peek by peeking or setting up the deck ahead of time. You just need to know what the top card is, because that's going to be your force card, which is going to match your prediction. So a couple of ways you can do that if you don't have a marked deck. One way is, if you just want to shuffle the deck, I have a false shuffle I'll leave a link to, where you can retain the top card, and it's my favorite shuffle for doing so, and that'll keep the ace of diamonds on top. So if you just want to shuffle the cards and make it look like a legitimate shuffle, and you know the ace of diamonds is on top, then you can make your prediction. You could even have that ahead of time if you wanted, and then the trick will work, because that force card is on top, the 8 of diamonds. Another way you can do this is, if you want to have the spectator, we'll set that aside for a second. You want to have the spectator shuffle the cards, which they do, and then you can take the deck back. And there's different ways to get peaks in Magic, like that. That's a top peak. I can leave a video for that if you like. So that's the Queen of Clubs. One of my favorites, and I'm gonna make a video for this soon, where I basically peek the bottom card, and it's very casual, and then I shuffle it to the top, and I retain it there, and I call that my shuffle peek. But anyway, I know that's the 2 of hearts. So that's another way you can do it, and it looks like you're just really just, you can even turn your head and do it, and it looks like you're just mixing the cards some more. But now you know that top card. So that's all you need to do for this trick to work, is to know that top card. And like I said, my favorite method is with a marked deck, because then you can just have them shuffle it and you never touch the deck, and it just looks even more impossible. And I'll actually bring a tutorial soon on how you can make your own marked deck, if you like. So anyway, we'll go back to where we were. We had the 8 of diamonds on top of the deck after the spectator shuffled, or after we peeked and figured out what that card was. And so now a lot of the rest of the trick is just self-working. What you want to do, here's a little subtlety, because I've had people mess this up before, so I've learned. You want to ask them to deal from the top of the deck face down, because I've had people, you know, deal from the bottom of the deck, or they'll start dealing like that and flipping cards over, which isn't the end of the world, but you got to correct them. So just say, you know, deal from the top of the deck face down one at a time, and then say, okay, go ahead, you can shuffle those cards some more, let them shuffle, and tell them they can take cards from the middle if they want, or the bottom, it doesn't matter. Tell them to stop whenever they want. So they stop there. You'll say, okay, great, we'll eliminate these cards. You could have had any of these cards. Apologize, there's a plane in the background. Taping outside. And then you're gonna say, deal these into 2 piles, face down, until the cards are exhausted. So you are like you're dealing a hand of cards. And just keep track, especially if you don't have that marked deck, just keep track of where the last card falls, because that's going to be the force card, which is right there. And so this is something I've added to this as well in this trick, a little subtlety. This is going to be like a magician's force right here. And the way this works is what you saw in the presentation. This is the first outcome. Basically, you ask them to place one pile into your hand. And so if they select this pile, which is the force card, you're going to get rid of this pile and say, okay, well, you could add any of those cards. Just get rid of them. Don't hesitate. And then you just proceed with the trick, having them flip this card over, which will be the chosen card. Now, the other outcome could be that they could hand you this. They could put this pile in your hand. If they do that, here's what you do. You just say, all right, we'll get rid of those. Leaves us with this one. See how you just forced that pile, but it looks like they had a completely free choice. Obviously, don't repeat the trick to the same audience on the same day, because they'll see that it may have been different. But anyways, you shouldn't be repeating tricks anyway. You are going to then have them flip this card over. I like to have them do it so they don't think you're doing something sneaky and adding cards or flipping the other card over, like a second deal or something. So have them flip that card over, and that is the trick right there. And then reveal. I like to build it up a little bit and say, you know, you could have, I knew it wasn't the 2 of clubs or 2 of spades or 7 of spades. And this kind of just kind of reiterates to them that they had like a free choice. You know, let them know that, you know, you shuffled the deck, you dealt as many cards as you wanted. If you had shuffled these any different, you could have had any of these cards. You handed me 1 packet. You eliminated all these other cards, and I didn't think it was the 7 of diamonds or 3 of diamonds, 3 of diamonds or 5 of spades or 2 of hearts, but I had a feeling about 1 card, and that was the 8 of diamonds, which is what you ended up on. So guys, I think that's a really awesome trick, especially for a beginner, because you can really do that with very, very minimal effort. And I'll leave a link in the description to a nice marked deck if you need to. And guys, let me know what you think. I hope you like that, and subscribe and check out the next video. Thanks for watching.